Shalom, and this is a special study about Yom Kippur, according to the Kabbalistic teachings of the Zohar and the Rizal, and the different aspects of what Yom Kippur is about. We have a short time, but we have to ask a few questions. First of all, why is Yom Kippur so holy? That it is called the holiest day of the year. Why it's on the 10th day of Tishrei. Look, all the great holidays are either on the new moon or the full moon. This is like the 10th of Tishrei. Why is, and that's the most important holiday. And why do they have to be on, the 10th of Tishrei, like connected Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur? And also, why is the Torah using the name Yom Kippurim in plural? It's Yom Kippur. But the Torah always using the term Yom Kippurim in plural. So the source for the holiday is we can find it in the book of Vayikra, Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 27. אך בעשור לחודש השביעי הזה, יום הכיפורים הוא, מקרא קודש יהיה לכם, ועיניתם את נפשותיכם והקרבתם אישה לאדוני. Translation in the King James Version. Also, on the 10th day of this 7th month, there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be a holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. That's the source. Okay? But also, there's another source which is being quoted a lot during the prayers. It's part of the daily prayers of Yom Kippurim. וזרקתי עליכם מים טהורים וטהרתם מכל טומאותיכם ומכל גילוליכם אטהר אתכם. Then, that's from Ezekiel 36:25. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. And it relates directly to Yom Kippurim in the prayers of Yom Kippurim. Soon we're going to see where it's coming from. So first of all, just to make it short, because there's a lot of stuff and I spoke about it in other classes about Yom Kippurim. You can see down in the same video. There will be, you can see the connections to the links for the other lectures. And we know that as Rosh Hashanah is starting, the new year for the soul is starting, there is a process that is called Nesira and Dormita. Nesira means sowing, Dormita means sleeping. Dormita is from Aramaic, Hebrew Tardema, that's the Bible, Dormita in Aramaic, dormant in English, that verb is a Latin a lot, sleeping. What happens when we are asleep? The soul disconnects from the body. And the process of disconnecting the soul from the body is called Nesira. It's like sewing, disconnecting, cutting off. And it happens in 10 stages on the first days of the year, according to 10 Sefirot. And that is corresponding to the 10 days of Teshuva. And I spoke a lot about it in other classes about Rosh Hashanah. These are 10 days that we have a special opening in the universe to return our soul, to return our minds and being and desires to their source. It's kind of an amazing reset of the system so we can get closer to our calling, to our true being, our true self on these special days. It happens in 10 days, 10 Sefirot, 10 stages, 10 levels, 10 emanations, which is the 10 days of Teshuvah. What happens during those 10 days, even if we're not aware of it, the Kabbalists are saying we are cutting the judgments from Zeranpin, which means the spiritual aspect of our souls, and loading them upon Malchut, so then we can simply, not just cutting them off, I'm talking about kind of drain it. It's an amazing, it's like, every device, electric or like a car, it needs to go through a certain treatment once in a while, especially cars, so in which, you balance the system. The balancing is happening during Rosh Hashanah and the 10 days especially, even through the whole process that is starting on Rosh Hashanah and finishes at Simchat Torah. That process, according to Kabbalah, is 3 stages. Balancing the left column is the first 10 days, then the next 11 days is balancing the right column, chesed, giving, altruism, and so on. That is the holiday of Sukkot and the days before Sukkot, after Yom Kippurim. And the central column, the balancing of the whole system, but when you put everything together and you seal it, that's on Simchat Torah, the 22nd day of Tishrei, the 3rd part of the high holidays. Okay? During the first 10 days, we are getting rid from as many judgments as possible, as many bugs in the system as possible, and most of the process is done without our interference. What we have to do is just let it happen. And that is Rosh Hashanah, the 10 days of Teshuva, and Yamakipuri, that is the last of the 10 days. Okay, so when we have a system of any system of light in this universe, according to Kabbalah, must be built of 4 elements, corresponding to the 4 letters of the name of Hashem, the source, and that is connected, the Zohar, connected to the field in the Judean mountains and the Galilee during the times of the ancient days. That was the whole community. Life was around that spring, because in Israel there's no rain between Passover and Simchat Torah. Rarely there rains around Sukkot, but mostly after Simchat Torah, then the rain is starting to come. The rainy season is coming. So it has like a physical manifestation. You finish praying for a better year, then you start praying for the rain, and then the rain is starting to come. Okay, but what do you do between Passover and Simchat Torah when you have 6 months without rain? How you can die, because it's a very hot summer. So you need to be connected to the source. The same thing, the soul needs to be connected to the source. The source is represented by Sfirat Chokhmah, which is where all the heavenly light is coming from. But we don't take it directly from the spring, because the spring is very small, very slow usually, and the spring goes into the pool. That's Binah. The Strauss is not accessible, but Binah is accessible. The pool is accessible. And that is what is the Sephirah of Binah, the upper hay. From Binah, from the pool, there were pipes, aqueducts, to the different fields and homes of the community. And these are the pipes of the Sephirah, which is called Zeir Anpin. And then the field that receives the water, this is Malchut, this is our lives. Which means, if we have, so once in a while, whenever, a system like this, you have to go and clean the pipes. Why? Because if there's some stones and dirt and leaves and all kinds of other stuff in the pipes, so there won't be flow of water. Same thing with the human soul. The soul, the receiving aspect, the part that we are connected to and we are aware of, and we are aligning ourselves with, this is the desires to receive. This is our needs. We need sustenance, we need health, we need the family, community, we need, we need to be part of something that we call it successful life. Okay? That is a flow in all aspects of your life. This is Malchut, this is the field. Okay, where do you get that sustenance from? Through the pipes from Zeranpin, from the spiritual aspect. Because if the spiritual aspect is blocked, you'll never be in the zone, you'll never be in harmony, and then you'll mess up, even if you inherited a lot of money, or you think you're lucky because you got a lot of money by any kind of investment. You can't really enjoy it as long as the pipes are blocked, because that means when the pipes are blocked, you'll never be satisfied. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter how big is your house. It doesn't matter how many servants you have and all of that stuff and how much popular you are. The moment the pipes are blocked, you'll always be hungry for something. And food will never satiate it. Drugs, alcohol will never satiate it. Extreme sport will never satiate it. Gambling will never satiate. All the means that people are using to satiate the thirst and the dryness won't, as long as the Anpin is blocked. And why is it blocked? When we are operating in a selfish, non way that is not in harmony with the people around us and with the world we are part of, we block the pipes, the spiritual pipes, and then it doesn't matter if it's written that you are rich and famous, it will never satiate you because the pipes are blocked. So you need a period of unblocking the pipes. And this is the time that we're going through during the year. Of course, you can unblock the pipes along the whole year, but it's easier during that time because we have a support from the upper world. And as I said, the pipes are the connection, but the pool is what we really want to be connected to. We connect through the pipes, because if you connect directly to the pool, you get drowned. Okay? And so you need to have the ability to have a valve in order to monitor the flow of water, and the same thing about wealth and happiness into our lives and energy. Now, Yom Kippurim in the Torah is always being mentioned in plural, not Yom Kippur, which is the correct form, and usually we call it Yom Kippur, in the calendar it's called Yom Kippur, but it's always in the Torah mentioned in plural. And Rabbi Isaac Luria, the great Kabbalist of the 16th century, that he was born in Jerusalem. He lived most of his life in Cairo, in Egypt. He lived the most important years of his life, the years that he taught his teachings, that were only 3 years, I think, no more than 3-4 years, in Tzfat, in the capital of Kabbalah in the Upper Galilee at that time, in the 16th century. But in his teachings, he explains that why Yom Kippurim is in plural, because it's about combining two frequencies of existence, Binah and Malchut. Why? And you can see it in the word Kippurim. The word Kippurim, the way it's written, so what you see in the red is the two letters Kaf Vav. Kaf Vav, there, it's a number. You know, Hebrew letters are also numbers. Kaf Vav is a number 26. 26 is the name, when it goes by the name of God that you do not pronounce. When you go by this, most of the times you mean the spiritual realm that is in between the upper world and the lower world. That is the Anpin. In black, you have Pei Resh. Par is a number, 280, and 280 is also the number for judgments of Malchut. Now you have left two letters that in purple at the end, Yud Mem. Yud Mem is 50. 50 is usually the number that represents Bina, which is 50 gates of Bina, of purity and holiness. So in the word Kippurim, you have 26 plus 280 plus 50, that is Kippurim. The letters of Kippurim, Kafvav is for Zeranpin, Par is for Malchut, judgment, and Yud Mem is for Bina. So, to show that something happens in this day of Yom Kippurim that connects all three frequencies, universes, levels of existence and consciousness into one, all of them are becoming one time a year. It's on the day of Yom Kippur. So what happens? It means that if we go back to what we just explained about the system of flow, it's like on the day of Yom Kippurim, we are being elevated, which means humanity, human beings, we are a level of existence where we are situated all our lives in a physical body. We are in Malchut, we are in the field, we are that field that needs to be watered and nurtured. Okay, what happens on Yom Kippur? Malchut goes up and connects with Zeranpin, and both Malchut and Zeranpin go up and take a dip in the pool, in Bina. So that dip in Bina has the ability to purify. Now, Rosh Hashanah, we had the blowing of the shofar, where the blowing came from Bina, and the pipes, that's a shofar, and that was about opening all the blocked pipes. Now it's even higher. We go up to be immersed in the pool, so everything becomes one. Everybody has a big meeting, a pool party, and we are all inside the pool. What does it mean? And we'll see that it means, first of all, sometimes you have you have an irrigation system, a drip irrigation system. And then you realize that one of the holes got clogged, and there was this big pot that did not get water, and it's very dry. What do? The first thing is you take that pot and you put it in a basin of water to soak it. Okay? That's what's happening. We on Yom Kippur we get soaked, but we get washed and bathed. Okay, so we'll see how this manifests in all the customs of Yom Kippurim. Okay, let me explain that in a different way by the words of my teacher, Rabbi Nisim Peretz, of blessed memory. And he says like this: What is the essence of Yom Kippurim? What do we have? Where should we put our heart? Where we should really connect our heart to on this day? Because it's all the most important thing is, where do you put your heart? What are the feelings we need to connect to on Yom Kippurim? And he says, Hakol Katuv B'Gemara. It's all in the Talmud, in the Gemara. And the last Mishnah of Tractate Yoma, it's a tractate that speaks about all the laws of Yom Kippurim, speaks about what's really happening on Yom Kippurim. But he's talking about it from a point of view of a Kabbalist. So it says over there, Amar Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said, Ashrechem Israel, lifnei mi atem mitaharin. Praiseworthy are you, Israel. Who are you being purified for? Umi mitaher etchem, and who is purifying you? Avichem shebashamayim, your Father in the heavens. As it says, Vezarakti alechem mayim torim utertem, and I will throw pure water upon you, and you will be pure, as we read before from Ezekiel. Right? Okay, Ezekiel 36:25. And I will sprinkle a clean water upon you, and you shall be clean. Okay, these are from the words that Rabbi Akiva connects the words of Ezekiel to Yom Kippurim. And then he says, that Ezekiel, as we said, 36:25. And then he says, Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. That's from Jeremiah 17:13. And that the Lord is the mikveh for Israel. And then he says, Rabbi Akiva, Ma mikveh meter temeim. The mikveh, the body of water, has the ability to purify who is not impure. Afakadosh Baruch Hu meter et Israel. The same thing, the holy, blessed be He, God, is purifying Israel. That's in the Mishnah, Tractate Yoma, chapter 8:7. Okay, so then to understand that. So it looks like it's a simple, says Rabbi Peretz, it's a simple verse. Who is cleansing us? Of course God is cleansing us. Only just on Yom Kippurim. But we are there in front of God every day. Every day we pray to God. Every day we connect to Him. Every day is supposed to be cleansing us. Right? But that's not enough. And He brings this verse after that it says, and I throw about on you pure water, and you'll be purified. But He adds another verse. And according to the Shas, according to the Talmud, when you bring one verse and you bring another verse, it means that the first verse does not cover the whole issue. The second verse can close the deal. And what does it mean? When he says that God is the mikveh, the purifying bath for the nation of Israel. Mikveh can purify the impure. Same thing, God will purify Israel. Okay? So, Rabbi Akiva comes to say that you should know that on Yom Kippurim, we are having an opportunity because Yom Kippurim is a very, very happy day that we should celebrate. Why is it very happy? Because on that day, as we read before in the book of Leviticus, on that day, God will atone for you to purify all of you from all your sins. You will be purified in front of God. That's Leviticus 16:30. So this is a day to become a new creature, a new created being. Okay, that's a date for total renewal. What does it mean? So that's a very powerful day. That's the greatest day of the whole year. This is the day that the great God is being revealed. You know, every day is around. But on this day, He is being revealed in a way you cannot understand. Why? Every day we are, if you remember, let's go back, we are in the field. We have to pray, we have to do our work, we have to connect and to, what's the word? We have to somehow connect to the pipes and draw the bliss through the pipes. Okay? Every day along the year, 364 days a year. But there's one day that we are the ones who have to try to get some drops from hooking up to the pipes. On this day, we're being taken above to be immersed in the pool, right? This is a totally different thing. We rise to a frequency that we cannot get into that frequency the whole year round because there's so much intensity on that. But that frequency is supposed to cleanse us, not just to feed us and to satiate us and to soak our dried soul. It is cleansing from all kinds of bugs and dirt and whatever we accumulated during the last year or the year before. So on this day, God reveals Himself in a way that you cannot experience along the whole year long. And I'll throw upon you pure water, and you'll be purified. Says the Mishnah, גל שנתלש ובו 40 שאה ונפל על האדם ועל הכלים טהורין. The Mishnah says, if a person walks down the street and a wave of water suddenly, can you imagine the thing? You walk down the street and there's a reservoir of water up the hill, and suddenly it breaks and the water fall on the person. Doesn't kill him, he stays alive. He's now, if he had the consciousness, the intention to be purified, he is pure. If he had any kind of impure utensils, they are pure. What are you talking about? Like, what is this story? Okay? And then the Talmud is arguing about if the person meditated to be pure, like who, something like this fall on you, the first thing is that I wish it doesn't kill me, right? Not that now I have to meditate to purify myself. So we are talking about something much deeper than it looks like in the first sight. Rabbi Akiva Lagid, what it means that Rabbi Akiva wants to say, that on Yom Kippur, there's a special light that is being thrown, injected to the universe. It's a light of purity. In that light, all the sins, all the negativities, all the blockages, all the impurities, it simply melts them down. In this light, there's no sin. As the verse is saying, Im chatata matif albo. It is from Job 35:6. When you're flooded with so much light, all the sins simply disintegrate and disappear because it's an endless light. It's a light of the Creator. The sin cannot touch you anymore because the sin disintegrates. אשריו מי שזוכה שיזרקו עליו המים טהורים האלה. So, whoever has the merit that these pure water, like a whole pure mikveh, falls on a person, then, wow, that's a gift you can't even imagine of. But that's something we pray for all our days. I wish I'll be purified and I'll be able to be the person I want to become. I'll be connected to my true being and true calling, my true self. I won't be busy with so much noise of hurt and who knows what else I'm carrying with me, who knows how many lifetimes. That's the power of Yom Kippurim. So whoever has a mikveh of this day, you're not, by the way, the laws we're going to see, you cannot go to the mikveh physical. You cannot wash with water. Why? Because you're being washed with the source, not with the branch, not with the physical water. You are being washed with the energy, the essence of a mikveh, a body of water that has the power to be cleansed. It's like you're being cleansed by the most pure spring in the world, in the universe, in the upper levels. That's what Yom Kippur is about. So this is the mikveh, that the whole day of Yom Kippur is like we are bathed in purity and purifying light. Okay? So that's supposed to be a very, very happy day in one case. In a case that we are aware to all what we did wrong, all what we feel wrong, all of those emotions and negativities that we have to let go of them. Okay, why? Because it says, Tovel v'sheretz v'yado. When you go into purifying water, into body of water, and you're still hating, you still feel like a victim, you're still negative, you feel still the grudge and all kinds of negative emotions, you're still holding on to the source of impurity, the mikveh cannot help you. Yom Kippur is a day that we really need to let go, forgive, forget, put it behind us, let the curses stay in the past year so we can move on to a year that we're not right, but we are bathing in the light, in and out. That's the light of God. That's a mikveh. So what do you have to do in that day so we can be purified with that light? That's a minimum. The minimum is, so there's an argument in the Talmud between Rabbi and the other Tanaim, other wise men of that generation. We're talking about the second century CE. Rabbi says, "Itzumo shel Yom Mechaper gam b'tshuva." Rabbi says, Rabbi Yehuda, he is the one who completed the Mishnah, a student of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and he said, even if we don't really do Teshuva, Yom Kippur will do it for us. And the sages are saying the Yom Kippur can help only the ones who really let go and reconnect, and they really wish to have a change and a transformation. Okay? Who is right? Let's see. During the time of the temple, the sages are saying that they had the power to atone and purify even without Teshuvah because of the scapegoat. We'll talk about it soon. And the same way, all the negativities can be washed away during this day. But we know that if we really think that sages are right, which means after Yom Kippur, everybody should be pure as angels. And you know what? We're not. We know we carry some stuff from even, I know some stuff, some scratches in the soul, some anger, some upset, some abuse, some victim feeling from a few years ago. Okay, so I know the last Yom Kippur is not kind of a total bleach that leaves nothing behind. Okay, maybe it can wear some off, but it means that the more we are connected, the more we are into Teshuvah, the more we are into letting it go and letting God in, then Yom Kippur has an accumulative effect from one year to another. So the more we are conscious, the more we are into letting go of our negativity, the more Yom Kippur, the cleansing, bleaching effect of Yom Kippur will be strong enough to be seen the days after Yom Kippur. Now the Ramchal, so Rabbi Nissim Peretz adds that the Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, we're talking about a great Kabbalist from Italy in the 18th century, is one of the greatest Kabbalists ever, that revived the teachings of the Zohar and Rabbi Azakloria in an amazing way. And he said he also, like the Arizal, young age, he created huge creation in Italy, then he went to Amsterdam, and then again he moved to Israel, that's 18th century, and he's buried in Israel. And he said that there is a special light that is shining to the world, this special light, on Yom Kippurim, that is not available in any other day of the year. And that's a light of the essence of the Creator himself. That's a light, it's a real essence of the light. Okay, so to remember that whoever understands the teachings of the Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, he knows that two systems of rules that every human being it's like two systems of operational system, like you have a system to operate your phone or your computer. There are two systems to operate the human existence and his consciousness and the way it's connected to the upper worlds. Okay? There's one system is Sachar Va'onesh, making it's like punishment and reward, good and evil. It's like either you're good, you're not, either you get punished or being rewarded. This is one system. And it's connected to the simple, if you just go by the laws, you do not steal, you do not cheat, you're simply an honest person, and you're really working on improving yourself to become the best person you can on a very conscious, logical level. Okay? That's one operational system. Do's, do not do, study Torah, study spirituality, get yourself better and better. But there's also another operational system. Okay, it's Anagat HaYichud. It's the unity of the universe, the unity of God, that everything is really God. Okay, everything is really God. Everything is really God. There's not even the slightest evil in the world. Everything that happens, even if it looks evil, it's also the love of God. Okay? During the year, says Rav Peretz, that operation system is hidden. It's almost impossible for a normal human being to connect that, because what can we do? We get upset. When something hurts us, we get hurt. And then we get even more upset, and we get either offended or angry or stuff like this. We are humans, and we are there in the field. And we have that good and bad all the time. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it bad? Right? So to connect, it's almost impossible to connect to that state of mind that everything is one. So there's no reward and punishment. There's no good and evil. Everything is good. Everything is really good. Okay? Which means when you're at that level, you will never even see the evil. You will never do evil, because it doesn't present in your, you're not in the frequency. And of course, it's going to be revealed in the Messianic days. What does it mean, Messianic days? When humanity realizes that operational system, so then there's no way we can hate each other, separate from each other, we can damage ourselves, we can let the evil inclination control us and deprive us from connection to the real light of God. Okay, but we're not there yet most of the time. Sometimes we can touch, in moments of epiphany and greatness, we can touch that place in which everything is one. Our brain waves are changing when we see everything as one. It's a different brain wave that can be even measured. There's a teaching that is called, it's a scientific research called the neurotheology, that when a person reaches that level, his brain waves are jumping from something like 13 to 17 hertz to over 40. And then the whole brain is in ecstasy, and we can feel everything as one. I'm talking about without drugs, just by contemplation, meditation. And then you cannot see any evil, you cannot do any evil, you're incapable, because you see everything as one. You cannot hurt a bird or an insect or a human being or yourself, because you're immersed in total love. This is available very rarely to people who really work hard about it. However, that level, that frequency is available on Yom Kippur in a much easier way. So when you reach that place of that oneness of humanity with God, not just humanity, the whole of creation, of course, all negativities are being wiped away. You forgive, you're being forgiven, and you start as a new, it's like what is created is kind of a restart, reset, healing, opening the pipes and the valves and everything is like really to be reborn. And then it's very easy to transform ourselves and to realize, like, well, what the heck was I thinking about? Why did I attach to those emotions? They didn't help me at all. Okay, so then the Teshuva that is needed on Yom Kippur is much easier, because there's such a level of excitement that we can tap into. So Yom Kippur, if some people go to the synagogue and people cry the whole time and they feel heavy. I know that because I was there. When I was younger and I didn't know Kabbalah, or I didn't know good enough Kabbalah, it's very heavy. Yom Kippur, you think about all your sins, you're standing in front of God, you're full of guilt, whatever. That's why that's not Teshuvah. Teshuvah is returning to the source, not holding on to how terrible I am. Maybe God is going to have some mercy upon me and forgive me for what I've done. That's a totally different else. What we said is like we have on Yom Kippur, we have an opportunity to rise, but we have to help it. Can't just sit there and cry miserably the whole day and think that something good is going to happen. No, Yom Kippur, as the Talmud says, in the end of Tractate Tanit, is the happiest day of the year. Of course, you're being given such a gift. It's the happiest day of the year, and if you're not going to be happy and in ecstasy of love of God and human beings and life, you're not going to be cleansed. So we have to elevate ourselves on this day through the prayers, through the meditations, through getting ourselves excited with songs and stuff like this, because the Talmud says it's not the Zohar. The happiest day of the year is Yom Kippur, because you're being given such a gift, you won't be happy. So it's even an insult. This grace, God is giving you such a great thing, and you're standing there with a sour face. Okay? How could you, if you understand what I'm saying? So the sages are saying, how do you, because a lot of people say, you have to be really sorry about your sins in order to atone them. So the sages are saying, yes, of course. Every day you have to work really hard to purify yourself. You have to really work on, you have to be really sorry. And you really have to be aware of the pain you inflict on yourselves, on others, on the universe, when we are busy with our nonsense. And we all have nonsense. Okay? And you have to take responsibility. You have to be really upset about it. Should be ashamed of that. And realize it's not a joke. It's really serious. Wherever wherever we blemish and hurt, look at the world around us. It doesn't happen. Things don't happen just like this. Okay? The world is really balanced. Finally, everything is getting balanced. So God is saying, you should do tshuva. So the whole year long, if a person wants to repent, there's also definitions. What is a real true repentance? And, a person really has to show he's sorry. And sometimes it means to humiliate yourself and ask for forgiveness from people you don't really want to talk to. Okay? Or, show humility because you behaved with such a great ego. It's not easy. It's not easy. However, on Yom Kippur, it's a different story. On Yom Kippur, it's so simple. You just need to show that you want to get rid of it, that you want to let go of it. And then because it says you are in front of God, you are really there immersed in the upper pool. Ilifnei Hashem titahu. You'll be purified in front of God. So just say one thing. I'm up to it. I'm fed up of it. I don't want this sin anymore. I don't want this trait anymore. I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to hate anyone. I don't want to be jealous. I want to be zealous. I don't want to disturb anyone. I just want to be with you, God. The moment a person is slightly upset about his sins, slightly has remorse, so it's simply when we do like this on the heart, and we don't hit on the heart, we simply validate that this is not us anymore. So we wipe the negativity from our heart. When we do the vidui, vidui in Hebrew means confirmation, not confession. It's a different religion. Confirmation, we confirm this is not part of me anymore. But what if it says something I never did? No, the Rizal, Rabbi Zaklor says you have to be responsible for all what's there. Because somehow, this way or another, we are all in it together, all of humanity. So if somebody sinned, I have to take responsibility too, because if I simply did my part and my share, there will be more positivity and maybe that person won't fall. So I have to take responsibility on this day and wipe that negativity that we all see ourselves responsible for, of all of humanity. It's not us and them anymore. We are in it together. So I think that this is a very powerful explanation of the essence of Yom Kippur. So which means on Yom Kippur we're just being bathed with that amount of light. What we have to be is to be happy about it and simply show regret about the stuff that we, it's very hard because a lot of stuff, Rabbi Ashlag is teaching that a lot of stuff, we're not even aware that we have a problem with it. We think we're okay with it. It hurts other people, it hurts us, but we think it's hard. We think it's okay. It's like it's a good trait. That's why we have the 10 days, the days before, just to find us, inside us, what's wrong with us, what have to be changed. Okay. But there's another thing. So why do we have to fast? And Rabbi Isaac Luria says on Deuteronomy 8, chapter 8, verse 3, there's a verse that says, Lo al alechem levado yechia adam, ki al kol motza pi Hashem yechia adam. Man doth not live by bread only, this is the King James Bible, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Lord doth man live. Okay, what does that mean? And the answer explains the Arizal. B'chol yemot hashana, during all the days of the year, except from Yom Kippur, we eat and we drink with a physical body. Every time we eat and we drink, we have to make a blessing. There's a blessing before the food, there's a blessing after the food. By these blessings, we are drawing, anu mamshichim, shefa umazon ima ilaha, el malchut rachel nukba dizernpin. By making the blessings, we are not just connecting to the nutrients, the vitamins, the calories in the food, we're using the food as a vehicle to draw in bliss and spiritual nurturing from the upper level, which is Imaila Bina. So one way you call it the pool, because the pool gives us supplies to the pipes that gives us water the fields. We also call that Bina Imaila, the Supreme Mother. Why? Who feeds the kids? The mother, right? So, and it feeds Malchut. And we know Achila, eating, numerical value is 65, which is the name of God, Aleph Dalet Nun Yud, which is representing this physical world, the field. So we know that the Gami Achila Gufanit min Chitzonit Abina. So of course we eat something physical that is external, but by the blessings and the consciousness of we draw also internal spiritual energy. If you connect only to the external of the food, then you'll never be really satiated. But if you connect to the spiritual energy that is hidden, captured in the food, why is that we as beings, why didn't God create us with a atomic engine so it can work for 120 years and we don't need to eat? You know what a waste of time. Finding the food, getting the food, preparing the food, eating the food, getting rid of the food, washing the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, and again, studying all of that stuff. You know, we'll have more time for spirituality. No, part of the spiritual work is to connect to spirituality via the food. Is there a spiritual energy in the food? That's in the kosher food. What is not kosher, you cannot elevate it. That's why it's not kosher. Kosher in Hebrew means fitness. It doesn't fit. Okay, it doesn't fit. You cannot elevate. That's why you're not eating that. Why? Why should I just eat garbage? You know, just external physical stuff that will block my energies. I want to connect to something that I have the ability to overcome the physicality and to use it to draw spiritual energy. So all year long, we have that fight, not just to eat physical food because we are hungry or because we want something good to eat, tasty, but look at the food as a spiritual exercise that we have to elevate spiritual light from the eating of the food. Ach b'Yom Kippurim, that's what we need, the meditations and the prayers before and after the food. Ach b'Yom Kippurim, however, on Yom Kippurim, אנו נותנים לאכילה ושתייה ושארי דברים מסוד הפנימיות דבינה, שהם 5 קולות. On Yom Kippur, we can feed our soul directly from Bina without the need of physical means, like food or drinking. And we have 5 different forces of light that we draw directly from Bina to our soul. And that is corresponding to the 5 voices. What are the 5 voices? There are 5 prayers on Yom Kippur. Each one of them is like, by the prayers, we are feeding directly from the Supreme Mother, from Bina. Therefore, mit'anim b'Yom Kippur. Therefore, on Yom Kippur, we do not eat, we do not drink physical food or physical drinks, because that draws us down, that we're already so high, feeding directly from the source. Why do I need the branches? And that's the purpose of the 5 prayers of Yom Kippurim. So now we can understand when it says there are 5 afflictions on Yom Kippur. No food and drinks, that's the first one. No leather shoes, that's the second one. No sexual relations, that's the third. No ointments, makeup, that's the fourth. And no washing. So why should it say afflictions? You know, that's what it says in all the books. The original source, we read it in the Torah before. Ve'initem et nafshotechem. Okay, what is nafshotechem? Nefesh, you have to, when you understand the Hebrew term for a soul, there are 5 different words for soul. Nefesh is the lowest. That's the lowest part of the soul that can interact with the physical body. Then above nefesh you have ruach, above ruach you have neshama, above neshama you have chaya, above chaya yechida. Nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida. It's 5 different words in Hebrew for the word a soul. Why 5? Because most people have only nefesh. People are really committed to spiritual work, they have ruach. People who already can do it on a larger scale, that's neshama. Beyond that is chaya and yechida, which there are no humans today with these levels. Chaya is when Mashiach is coming, and then when humanity comes to its completion, that's yechida. Okay, but we're talking about nefesh. Nefesh belongs to Malchut Olam Asiyah. So when we do not eat physically, when we are simply not doing what is called the 5 afflictions, what we do is called inui. It can be in Hebrew, they are understood as torture. But there's another word in the word inui, ani, poor. We just make our physical body and our lower nefesh, we shut them down so they do not make too much noise and disturb the flow of the higher levels of light that is being revealed on that day. So we know when a person, let's go to neurotheology, when a person reaches that level of that high frequency, that he feels oneness with the whole world, he has to shut down a lot of the body noise and sensual. That's why only people who can really meditate to a place in which they shut down all the physical aspects of the body, only then you can reach to that level, which means you cannot reach that epiphany and oneness with the universe while eating, having sex, or all that kind of stuff, because these are stuff that you're using the body in order to connect to spiritual energy. During the whole year, it's okay, not on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, we have another frequency. We are connecting to purity on Yom Kippur, so we can do it for the other 364 days, so we can do it right, on a spiritual way, but not on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, it's a kind of it's a one-time restart. So what do we do instead? So we said there are 5 voices, 5 prayers. One prayer is the evening prayer of the eve of Yom Kippur, Tfilat Arvit. That's corresponding to Malchut. Then in the morning prayer, the morning after, Shacharit, corresponding to Zeranpin. Then after Shacharit, we have Musaf, that's Bina. Then Mincha, the afternoon prayer, that's Chokhmah. And the prayer that seals the connection, just as Yom Kippur is over, just before, so it's Tfilat Ne'ilah, the 5th prayer. When we finish Ne'ilah, that's when we blow the shofar and Yom Kippur is over. And the blowing the shofar is locking our connection to the tree of life for the whole year. Because the way we can connect to the tree of life by the end of Yom Kippur, that's why on Yom Kippur, the prayer during all of these 4 prayers is Zocheinu Lechaim, remember us for life, Kotvenu Lechaim, like from Rosh Hashanah. Please remember us for life, this is for the soul. Write us for life, this is for the body. But in Tfilat Ne'ilah, it's Chotmeinu, seal us. Where we already reached a high level, we are praying for God to seal that connection, so we stay with that Wi-Fi connection for the rest of the year. As much as we can seal it, that's how the level or the quality of the year is going to look like on Yom Kippur. On Yom Kippur, we have also the 13 attributes again and again and again, basically 26 times. In many synagogues, especially now, you may try to make it shorter, so maybe they do it less, but it's supposed to be 26 times, corresponding to the name of God, Youdkevitch. That's for the cleanse, because the 13 attributes, they bring the light of cleansing from the source of all sources, from the higher upper Keter. Okay, so the 13 attributes, every time we say the 13 attributes, and by the way, that can be said as a prayer only when you have a minyan. If you don't have a minyan, you can say it as reading the Torah. Okay, but it doesn't have the same quality. So it's about cleansing the body and the soul. We just bring the light that cleanses the body and the soul, drawing the bliss from Mazalah, which is the upper Keter. This is the from that level of total unity with the universe. that makes everything flow, sweetening all the judgments, and purifying everything. That's the last word of the 13 attributes, venake. Venake, the same gematria, the same numerical value as mikveh. So we just meditate, when we say venake, now we are in the upper mikveh being cleansed. And that's why immediately after we saying venake of the 13 attributes, we say vezarakti alechem mayim teorim utertem. And God said, and I will throw pure water upon you, and you will be purified. There's another thing about the fasting, because it says in the Torah, Leviticus 23:32, Shabbat Shabbaton hu lachem. It's a Shabbat Shabbaton. It's a real sabbatical. No work, nothing. No electricity, no phones, nothing. Ve'initem et nafshotechem, and you should make your nefesh, we expand it, poor, which means you should shut down your physical body and physical thinking on the 9th of the month of Tishrei in the evening. From one evening to the next evening, you should do your sabbatical. So the Talmud in Masechet Yoma, page 81b, says, what does it mean? We don't fast on the 9th day, we fast on the 10th. And we learn from that on the 9th day we should be really busy eating. Why? It's like God on one hand says, you're going to Yom Kippur, and to make sure that it's a happy day, you should come strong. You worked really hard. Maybe you didn't sleep. You were praying. You're really like working hard for improving yourself. You have to come to my day to be with me, not hungry. You should eat like you're really going to a feast, because you're going to eat 5 meals directly from Bina. Shouldn't be bothered with drinking and food. You should eat before. Should eat well. So you should make at least 2 meals on the eve of Yom Kippur, which means before sundown. So one in the morning, one at noontime, or just afternoon. You have to have official 2 meals, holiday meals during the day before Yom Kippur. The day that Yom Kippur is at that night, at evening. Okay, but there's another thing. During one of the major issues of Yom Kippur that we concentrate on the Torah reading from Parashat Achrayimot in the book of Vayikra, Leviticus, and then Musaf. It's all about the temple's work on Yom Kippurim. While people were standing around by masses, and the high priest, this is the day he would go into the Holy of Holies and pray to purify himself, his family, his tribe, and the whole world. At the same time, he will also do the reading of the Torah that we read on Yom Kippur, and there was also the thing with the scapegoat. What does it mean? Where is the word scapegoat coming from? There was a goat, there will be 2 goats being brought to the high priest. He will make a lottery. One goat will go to God, and one to the dark side. The Kohen will put his hands on the head of the scapegoat and will confirm all the sins on that goat. And then a special man will take that goat to a mountain in the Judean desert, east of Jerusalem, called Har Azazel. If you want to have a terrible curse in Hebrew, you send somebody to Azazel. Okay? So, what is it about? When the Kohen will bless that goat, will confirm that on that goat, the Zohar says he will simply wire in all the negativities of humanity. All of those negativities, when they accumulate, hatred, greed, anger, victim, all the negative emotions and feelings and hurt and passion for all kinds of terrible stuff that humans are very good at, when those emotions have the nature to accumulate, they don't just disappear into nowhere. We think we have a problem with the carbon dioxide. We have a problem with the... No. It's all about accumulation of human negative emotions that the planet is simply collecting and collecting and collecting. During the time of the temple, there was one day a year on Yom Kippur that the high priest will drain that energy by the that service of the scapegoat. One goat from the two will be sacrificed to God. One goat will be taken to the Mount Azazel, and he will be thrown from the top of the mountain, and he will explode on the way down just from all the negativities of humanity so the world can have another chance. We look around and we see all of that pollution, environmental, global violence, epidemics, and plagues. This is not just a scientific thing. The planet is sick. Humanity is sick. We are worshiping our egos, our bodies, our negative emotions. The media is it's like infesting us with terror, fear, anxiety that creates hatred of any kind of hatred, doesn't matter. All of these emotions are the worst pollutions. This is the source. All the other kinds of pollution, plastic, CO2, all of that stuff, these are only physical manifestations of the real pollution. Because when the pollution is a real negative energy, it forces people to behave not like they really want to behave. They overconsume, they overuse, they pollute. We all are part of that sickness of this planet. And the only healing is first to heal and drain those emotions. One day a year, we have a chance to drain as much of this energy as possible. Okay? And that is one of the major things we have to work on Yom Kippur. So, that's basically from the Zohar that Rabbi Abba is asking. Well, what is the story of the two goats? Okay, this is from the Zohar, Acharei Mot, verses 111 to 139. If you have the Zohar in English, you can read it, but we won't have time to go deep into it. But basically what it says, those two goats are about draining the judgments that humanity has accumulated. Most people are not capable of dealing with so much weight of negativity. So the fact that they are hateful, fearful, negative, they don't have the ability to tolerate their friends, their families. So they go into hating them, killing them. There's no toleration, there's no love. It's all of that weight of negativity. So how do we drain it? We have to reawaken the temple work of Yamakipuri. And that is being done by the Torah reading. Immediately after that, in the prayer of Musaf, we are going through the whole, like detail by detail, we read all the details that are of what is called Seder HaAvodah, the order of the worship of the high priest. There's no physical high priest. We have to create that high priest with our minds, with our hearts, by reading and meditating to be in the temple in Jerusalem and activating that. And since there's no physical Beit HaMikdash, no physical temple, we cannot activate the full power of the scapegoat, because how do we call that mountain that the scapegoat went to? Azazel. Azazel. And how do we call a goat in Hebrew? Az. Az means powerful in a judgmental way. Okay? So the level of judgment that we can fix and correct is, we cannot do it all the way as long as the temple, the physical temple, is not there. One of the reasons why we have to pray for the reestablishment of the temple, so we can do a better job in cleansing and draining all of the filth of humanity that accumulates and accumulates, and we cannot drain it, and people become victims to that, because most people are not aware of all of that weight, and so they take it personally, and they are very miserable because of it. Very hard to find happy people today. Another way is the sages, after the destruction of the temple, revealed to us that yes, we cannot do the scapegoat for its full extent. We can do it verbally, meditation, Torah reading, Musaf, all of that on Yom Kippur. But we can do it on an individual level of cleansing that blanket of terror and negativity that is surrounding us by doing what is called Kapparot. And Rabbi Isaac Luria explains that in that is being written by his students in the book of Pri Etz Chaim, the fruit of the tree of life. And he explains what is Kapparot. Kapparot is a custom. We'll see it. Ve'hu sod kfiyat hagvurot. This is the secret of overpowering the judgments. Now, the judgments, because tarnegol nikra gever in Hebrew, a rooster is called gever. Gever comes from the word gvura, judgment. And it's not by mistake that it's called gever. Why? Ve'hu sod hagvurot shel yesod. Every being on earth is also a manifestation of a cosmic frequency. A rooster is connected, says Rabbi Isaac Luria, to the judgments of Sefirat Yesod. And that's called Gever. Okay? And that's a secret of the female, which means of Malchut. That is our life, our field. Okay? But Yesod is connected, if you said there are 10 days of 10 days of Nesirah, of the Dormita, the 9th day is connected to Sefirat Yesod, which is the 9th Sephirah. And that's why we are slaughtering a rooster on the 9th day in order to sweeten the judgments of Sefirat Yesod and to overpower them, eliminate them for the whole year. On Yom Kippurim, b'Yom Kippurim, azu gvurot Malchut. What we said, the 9th day is Yesod, the 10th day is Malchut. Okay, sheba dinim kashim kenegdam sara mishtaleach. On the 10th day, the judgments are much stronger. So the vehicle to sweeten those judgments is the goat, is. Okay? But we don't have a physical temple, so we cannot use the physical goat, only the imaginary one, through the reading of the Torah, through the prayer of Musaf. נמצא כי התרנגול הזה הוא דוגמת השעיר. So that rooster is like the scapegoat. But it's less judgmental because Malchut has more judgments than Yesod. רק שהוא נמתק יותר, it's easier to sweeten the judgments using the rooster on the 9th day. ולכן הוא נמתק באשמורת. Therefore, The only time that can work is just before dawn on the 9th day of Tishrei. Ki az rachamim govrim kanoda. Because we know, according to Kabbalah, and according to people who are really sensitive, just before dawn, the judgments of the night break, and it's like there's a change of frequency in the universe. So when you slaughter the rooster on that moment before dawn, you can sweeten the judgments for yourself and around yourself, which is a kind of, instead of the scapegoat. Okay? And that is what the secret of Kapparot is about. Now, today, I remember when I was young, very few people were doing this custom of Kapparot, but the last 40 years, it's like so many people want to do Kapparot. The problem is, everybody wants to do it in the right time. The problem is, there are not enough roosters. So you do, by the way, Rabbi Ezekiel says, you slaughter a rooster for every male, and a chicken, a female, for every female. If you have a pregnant woman, you slaughter 3 for her, 1 female for her, for the mother, and because you don't know what's inside, so you, to make it sure, you slaughter a female and a male, so it's 3. Okay, now, so today it's like it's impossible, and that's why, and you don't have enough people know how to slaughter kosher properly. It creates a lot of pressure on the men who are doing the work, and it's very uncomfortable. So a new custom came like a few years ago, in which the rabbi of the community, he's doing Kapparot with a chicken and a rooster, the rooster for all the men in the community, and the female, the chicken, for all the females in the community. He does it on the right moment with all the meditation, so there's not so much noise and hassle around it, and that will cover that for every community by itself. In order for that to happen, you have to do Pidyon Kapparot. It's called redemption of Kapparot. So what you do is you take the amount of money, and it's like, that's the amount of a chicken. What do? You take that money, the money goes to charity, but first of all, it has to be the amount equal to the worth of a chicken. Okay, so every year you have to somehow calculate what's the worth of an average chicken, and then you take the money of that chicken, okay, and you take the money around. You can find the link exactly what to say underneath and how to do it. You take the money around your head, and you say this money is going to go to charity, and I'm going to go to life. The whole text is there. You can find it down in the information of the movie. You can find a whole page with that and how to do it. And then after that, you donate that money, okay, to somebody that will do the chicken thing for you. Okay, you can do it online. The details are below. You can do it. Many organizations do it in many Jewish communities around the world. Some international communities, you can do it. And then this money is being given to feed other people, to feed poor people. So it's like you did the job twice. You gave charity, and charity saves from death, and you did the chicken thing because you donated it for somebody who will give it to charity, and he does, and you give him the names of yourself and your parents. So the rabbi who does the slaughtering of the chicken does it personally for your name, for yourself, to remove those judgments for the rest of the year. Okay, as we said about the vidui, which is confirmation, not confession, and we already explained that it's to confirm that I'm not that person anymore, and to cleanse that kind of energy by the 5 fingers of the right hand on the heart. What is that? Chesed, the 5 chasadim. So when you put the chasadim on your heart, you cleanse, you wipe that judgment from your heart. We do it every one of the 5 prayers of Yom Kippur. Then we'll finish with the Kol Nidrei. Kol Nidrei is it looks like it became the most popular prayer. And it is being said in Aramaic. Even if you know Hebrew fluently, you don't know what he says. But people understand Kol Nidrei means all the vows. We nullify all the vows. Why people feel it's so important? Because this is the most popular prayer. A lot of Jewish people that don't go to prayer in synagogues, but they go once a year to listen to Kol Nidrei. What makes it so important? And the Zohar explains it in the most amazing way. And the Zohar says about the secret of Yom Kippur. That's in the Zohar Parashat Pinchas, verse 808 in the Sulam commentary. The days of the year, they're the days of the tree of knowledge, good and evil. The Yomin de'it ba'on melechet chol inun misitra de'etz hadat overa. All the days, not Shabbat. They are the days of the tree of knowledge, good and evil. We are parts of Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve collapsed into many pieces. We are the pieces. Each one of us has a job to cleanse and correct one piece of that tree of knowledge thing. And what does it mean, tree of knowledge, good and evil? Because after the sin, we are deep into negativity, our bodies, our thoughts, our emotions, our evil inclination. And how do we fix it? It's always life is good and evil. Is it good? Is it evil? I'm going to make money, I'm not going to make money. They love me, they don't like me. It's like that good and evil, we have to fix it. And that's also called the Tapech mi mateh lenachash u'minachash lemateh. Like the story of Moses and the burning bush, in which he had a staff, a wand, that he could do magic with it. When he threw it, it became a snake, which is a symbol of the sin. So when he held the tail of the snake, it became back to be a staff or a wand, a magical wand. So that's our life. We have to turn everything that looks like a snake, evil, hurt, and so on, into a wand of magic. That's the job of a human being. Okay? So, on the day of Yom, and that's why we have to meet the snake every day, many times. Disappointment over here, excitement over there, hatred over here, love over there. And it's like good and evil, good and evil. And we have to overcome it and to turn all the evil into good. But on that day of Yom Kippurim, which is called holiness, on this day, it's a day with the rulership of only the tree of life. No Satan, no negativity is included with that day. We can have a day only of bliss. So, on this day, so we can connect to the tree of life more than any other day on Yom Kippurim. This is the day of rest. Of who? The slaves. We are enslaved to our whims, to our bodies, to all of those evil inclinations and thoughts that they make us miserable. Okay? This is the day we can go out to freedom. How much? Depends how much we connect to freedom on Yom Kippurim, according to what we just learned about. And then comes the punchline, the next verse, 809 in the Zohar Parashat Pinchas. Inu deit alayhu gzardin beneder v'shvua ובגין דעת תקינו למימר בי כל נדרי ועשרי. כולהוני on שביתין ושביקין לשרין ולא קיימין. But still, all of those people that have judgments threatening their lives, where are their judgments? These judgments are on the way. Why? Because all the judgments that we do not, all the pollution that we did not cleanse all our lives, they are, by the beginning of the new year, they are on the way. They're going to get into that program of, they're going to hit us during the coming year. Through sickness, God forbid, loss of money, terror, fear, violence, poison, it doesn't matter. It's like all of those plagues that life are holding for humanity, each one of us. Those negativities, those forces that are there, why are they there? Why does God allow them? Because it says, why? There's an oath. What's the oath? When we shut down the endless, we made the tzimtzum, the contraction, we made an oath that we do not want free gifts. And therefore we are willing to pay for our mistakes. Bad one. Why? Look around. It looks like we are not capable of dealing it properly. Look at our planet. Look at humanity. It's not fun. It's not fun. So when we're standing there as a community and take the Torahs out, with the Torahs, there's no way taking the Torah out of the ark just like this, not for reading, once a year only. And also on Simchat Torah. We take all the Torahs, we're standing there with the Torahs, and the whole community is saying, Kol Nidrei, all the vows we had, they do not apply anymore. We just nullify all of these. What vows? All of those judgments that are on the way. We said, when we were in the endless, we said, if we make a mistake, we'll pay for it. As we said, reward and punishment. We're okay with that. No, we're not okay with it. Comes Yom Kippur, look, it's too much. Most of us cannot stand it. Most of the people on earth today, and in many years before, it's too much. They suffer too much. They don't get it. Simply don't get it. They don't play the game. They don't know how to live. They're irritated. They're upset. They feel like victims. And if they're not victims, they take a revenge, which is also victimization. Okay? So either they hurt or hurt somebody else. And that has to come to an end by removing those judgments that are on the way to hit us. We are using the Kol Nidrei prayer, which is not one of the 5. This is just as the holiday is coming in, that together we remove those vows that made us accept that if we do wrong, we want to pay for it. On Yom Kippur, we say, it's too much. We are willing to nullify those vows. Those vows. Yeah, what about the vows we made? No, there's a nullification of the vows on the eve of Rosh Hashanah. There's another one on the morning of Yom Kippur in every synagogue, almost. So what vows are left for the eve of Yom Kippur? We are talking about those judgments that are on the way to hit us. How do we do that? We have to fly up to the air. How? Holding the Torahs. We go up, and the Zohar says, it's quoting from the Mishnah. V'nislach lechol adat bnei Yisrael, we say, and it will be forgiven for all the congregation of the children of Israel. And the Zohar adds, Chesed is water, Gvura is fire, Tiferet is air. Okay? ובגינדה וכמו המרים מתניתין התר נדרים פורחים באוויר. There's a very strange expression in the laws of vows. It's called Heter Nedarim Pochim Ba'avir, nullification of flying vows. It's like the Iron Dome. There are missiles coming at us. Those missiles are made of our own wrongdoings. And because of the laws of cause and effect, they're on the way to hit us. So we fly up to the air in order to counterattack. And on the eve of Yom Kippur, when we pray as one congregation to nullify those vows, it's like the Iron Dome. We go up in the air and we are nullifying those vows flying in the air towards us so they don't fall on us during the coming year. And that's the power of the Kol Nidrei. We can talk a lot about Yamakipuri, but I think that for today, we've done something. Anybody has questions, please? Okay, so have a happy, amazing Chatima, like we should all be sealed, pray for each other, sealed for a good, happy year, connected to the tree of life as much as possible, at least much more than last year. So there's less negativity around, so humanity can move up towards the Messianic days with much more ease. Thank you so much.
תודה, חתונה טובה.